Alright, it is dark, I am a mess, but we're gonna get this filmed today. Hello, my name is Amber, and this is my August wrap-up. So we're gonna jump right into it. The first book that I have here is A Prince in Theory by Alyssa Cole. This is the first in the Reluctant Royal series. Really cute, simple story. Our main character gets an email that seems like one of those standard spam emails where they say that a prince has to marry her. Ends up that it's actually true, and he shows up. Feels very real. It's one of those things where there was a point in the book where I honestly thought that was gonna be the end, because in most romances that's where it would end, but it continued. You got to see these characters grow and develop their relationships and feel very real, and it was a nice, refreshing, fun romance, and I highly recommend it. And I gave this 5 stars. I'm gonna forget every single rating when I do this. And to get a good chunk of my wrap up out of the way, I read 2 through 6 in the volumes of Dreaming Sun this month and loved every minute of it. I'm in love with the series. It's a lot of fun and a lot of chaos, and it's just wonderful. Zen is everything, and I feel like that's all I need to say about this. Also, again, I forgot the rating. I gave all of those 5 stars. Next, I have volume 2 of Sailor V. This is just a spin-off prequel to the Sailor Moon series that just follows Sailor Venus. It's a lot of fun, entertaining. I didn't love this volume that much as like the first one or what I've read of the main series. It's okay overall. I think you need more of the characters that you have in the main series instead of just following Sailor V, but still really enjoyable. Next, I read Queens of Geek by Jen Wild. This is a story about multiple different relationships and friendships that are evolving throughout the time of this huge kind of geek convention. It is very geekerella, and I loved it for that. It was just wonderful. The relationships are sweet and adorable. The anxiety rep in this felt way too real to me, and there were a couple of pages where I was just like, this is everything I've always wanted to say to someone about my anxiety and never been able to put into words. It's fantastic, and I highly recommend it. Plus, it's super quick and easy and fun to get through. Next, I have Her Royal Highness by Rachel Hawkins. This is the companion novel to Prince Charming. I liked Prince Charming a lot. I really enjoyed that, and I enjoyed this probably just as much, maybe a little less. I feel like there could have been a lot more development and more to these characters and to the plot than there was in this one, but I did still enjoy it. It was still easy and quick to get through. Next, I have volumes 2 and 3 and the collector's editions of Fruits Basket. Love this series. I'm obsessed with it now. Follows a girl who ends up moving out due to circumstances in her life and ends up living in a tent outside, but that ends up being on the property of another family who decides to kind of take her in. Weird thing about this family though is that all of the people in this family, if they get hugged or embraced by a member of the opposite sex, they turn into a animal from the Chinese zodiac. It's a lot of fun, but it also has, especially in volume 3. Volume 3 so far has been my favorite because there's so much character development in here and so much emotion and so much in it that I'm enjoying this series a lot so far and can't wait to pick up the next volume, but I easily gave both these 5 stars. Next, I have Crusoe's first book. If you don't follow Crusoe on Instagram or something else, I don't know what's wrong with you. Why would you not want an adorable, funny Dachshund in your life? I had read his last book that just recently came out and loved it. Read this one. It's not quite as good. This is very much just like, here's some cute pictures of Dachshunds and then some made-up stories about Crusoe and Oakley. So it's an enjoyable, fun ride. So I'm happy I read this. More of my favorites this month. I have Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahern. I hope I'm saying that name right, but I know I'm probably not. Read this as part of a read-along this month and enjoyed every single second. This is a witch has to marry a witch hunter and hide that, and they're both just growing and learning more about each other, and it's just this wonderful relationship. There's so much sarcasm and fun in this, but there's also very deep emotional moments that are just, they're so good. They're so good. I know why everybody loves this book. I don't know why it took me so long to finally pick it up. I'm pumped for the sequel to come out next month, but I gave this 5 stars. Next, I have Bookish of the Beast by Ashley Poston. This book is every everything I ever want in a story. I've mentioned Geekerella and Princess and the Fangirl multiple times in my account because Geekerella is one of my absolute favorite books just ever. I loved this. I loved this so much. It's just so wonderful and fluffy and fantastic. And it is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, so you can kind of get a general sense of what the story is about, but in a contemporary setting. It does follow some characters that we have seen from the other stories. Just read the series. There's wonderful characters, wonderful character development. These feel like real people, but in fun situations, and it's just heartwarming. I felt so incredibly giddy and happy after I finished this book. I think everybody that was around me when I finished this thought I was insane, because I was just sitting there hugging this book for like 30 minutes because I was just so incredibly happy that I had read it. I of course gave that 5 stars. Come on. Next, I have The Stars and the Blackness Between Them. Story of a girl who gets caught with her secret girlfriend and ends up being sent away to America to live with her father, and kind of builds a relationship with our second character that we follow as well that lives in America. And there is a lot of important conversations in this, but there's also a lot of magical realism, and that stopped me from really enjoying this as much as I was hoping I would. It's still a fantastic story and it's still really good. I expected something completely different going into this based on reviews and what the back says than what I actually got when I started reading it, so I feel like I was just expecting something else, but it's still a really good story. Next are probably my most disappointing reads this month. Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. I didn't like this book. I think I gave this 2 stars just because of the fact that I like the characters and can see myself wanting to follow them, but I did not care for the plot. I just overall felt bored and disappointed. I'm still going to continue the series because everybody loves this series so incredibly much. So maybe if I read the sequels, I might like this series more. Then the next one, I mean, I'm happy I finally got it read because I've mentioned this multiple times in other videos by now. I finished The Betrothed by Kira Cass, and wow, was this disappointing. As someone that does really like the Selection series, I went into this hopeful because I wanted more from Kira Cass. I've enjoyed her books in the past, even though I know a lot of people don't, but this one, the characters are underdeveloped, the plot is really simple and boring, the relationships don't feel real at all and feel like they come out of nowhere, and I'm also someone that does not mind insta-love. This was not even insta-love. This just felt like 2 strangers that just happened to get together, and the ending just went so weird, and I don't know where she plans on taking this, and I honestly don't know if I want to continue or not. I don't give books 1 star very often, but I gave this 1 star. And then the last few that I have here, I have Shiver. This is a horror manga that I read this month and loved because it's an anthology. There are definitely stories that I didn't enjoy as much. One story specifically, Fashion Model, became one of my absolute favorites in my obsession, and I now just want nothing more but more stories about the character in that. Really excited to pick up more from this author and pick up more horror manga because I enjoyed this a ton. It was just a really fun, scary ride. And then I have Winterwood, another standalone from this author. I read The Wicked Deep last year, I think, and loved it. It was really good. These are very somber, just simple, good stories. This is another one that follows witches. The main character is known for being the witch girl that lives in the woods. These woods are supposed to be really well known for just being horrible to be in. They're dangerous. Our main character goes into the woods every now and then to pick up lost items and just kind of has a collection of lost things that she's been picking up. When she goes in one time, she ends up finding a boy that had gone missing a couple weeks beforehand. The story kind of unravels from there. It is a mystery to figure out his entire story, how he survived in the woods. There's a vibe and a feeling and an atmosphere about this author's books that I just really enjoy. And next I have Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. This is a haunted house story that's very similar to Haunting of Hill House. I don't want to spoil anything in this, but it's also very hard for me to get my feelings across about it without doing that, but I'm gonna try. I did not like Final Girls when I first read that. I just did not like that book at all. I did not enjoy it. I did not like the characters. And when it comes to this one, it was somewhere in the middle. Story overall is fine, but I just expected a little bit more from this with how much everybody loves Riley Sager's books. I just wanted more from this story, specifically this one, because I went into this thinking haunted house, paranormal. I'll lean more towards that because I enjoy paranormal more, but I ended up giving this 3 stars. And then the last final book that I want to mention, I have not finished yet. I'm still currently reading My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrick, but I will insert a clip here shortly once I finish it because I've got an hour left in the audiobook, so I'm gonna go finish this real quick. I completed My Best Friend's Exorcism last night and really enjoyed it. I had a good time with this, so I'm probably gonna end up giving it 5 stars. I haven't fully done my review or anything of it yet, but I enjoyed it a lot. It was intense and fun, and just 80s vibes mixed with horror is just a wonderful combination. I really enjoyed this. It was very emotional, very strange and intense, and while there were definitely parts that I think could have been taken out and weren't exactly necessary, mostly just like some of the very, very end stuff, I did really enjoy this, and it was one that I was not expecting to tear up at, but I did, and I really enjoyed it. That is all the books that I've read in the month of August. If you've read any of these, let me know down below what your thoughts were on them, and let me know your favorite book that you read this month. That is everything, and I will see you guys next time. Well, okay.